Part 1 of the Twickenham doubleheader saw London Irish and Harlequins launch the new Aviva Premiership season, both looking to improve on last term's mid-table displays. A penalty apiece marked the early exchanges before Quins made the most of George Lowe's surge into the 22. The giant figure of James Johnston finished the job for the campaign's first try. Nick Evans added the extras to put Quins in charge. That upper hand was under pressure when number 8 Joe Marler was sin-binned for offences at the breakdown as Tom Homer reduced the arrears for the Exiles. And soon after the break it was all square. Dan Bowden pouncing on a loose clearance before offloading to Topsy Ojo for a simple score. Homer converted for 13 points all. Evans orchestrated Quins' response and his reliability from the tee eventually made the difference. Another penalty restored their lead, but Irish hit back when Marland Yard and replacement Alex Gray created another opportunity for Ojo, who went over for his second try of the game. Evans restored Quins' lead with yet another penalty, but the decisive score came from a man deemed surplus to England's World Cup requirements. Ugo Monye holding off the challenge of Homer for a try in the corner, confirmed eventually by the television match official. Evans inevitably landed the conversion, and when he made it 7 out of 7 with a late penalty, Harlequins had the opening day win. Homer's kick 3 minutes from time at least secured Irish the consolation of a losing bonus point. Final score, London Irish 24, Harlequins 29.
Kingsholm had seen a remarkable second-half turnaround last weekend by a Gloucester side still finding its way, and the Cherry and White faithful were hoping for an 80-minute showing in the same vein against Exeter Chiefs. However, it was the unrelenting boot of Gareth Steenson that got the visitors on the board first. Ian Whitten started ahead of the returning Jack Knoll, but the Ulsterman only lasted 5 minutes before he was sent to the sin bin for dangerously impeding Charlie Sharples in the air. And Gloucester took full advantage. First England wing Johnny May found some room on the left and somehow touched down his own kick despite the attentions of Hayden Thomas and Matt Jess. Greg Laidlaw missed the conversion but slotted his next just 2 minutes later, and when the Gloucester pack bulldozered Dan Murphy over for a second try in as many minutes, everything looked rosy for the Cherry and Whites holding a 12-3 lead. But even with Whitten still off the park, the visitors got a penalty back and then 2 more. In fact, in 9 minutes, Steenson had Exeter back on level terms at 12 all. With momentum on their side, it was the Chiefs who struck next through Ben White, the flanker powering over after some good work from Thomas Waldrum had set up a length of the field break. Steenson converted and added another penalty to see Exeter 22-12 ahead at half-time. After the break, things only got worse for the home side as Kovacic was sent to the sin bin for his part in a dangerous tackle. Henry Slade knocking over the penalty to stretch the visitors' lead. They couldn't take advantage of their extra man though, and with both sides back to a full complement, Sione Kalamafoni powered his way over from short range. Toby Hook added the extras and another penalty to bring Gloucester to within just 3 with less than 10 minutes to go. However, the Chiefs held on for their second win of the season. The final score from Kingsholm, Gloucester 22, Exeter 25.
Sale welcomed Saracens to the AJ Bell, keen to maintain the final unbeaten home record in the Aviva Premiership. They couldn't have wished for a better start. Just 7 minutes on the clock when they scored their opening try, Haley, Addison and James combining before Sam James himself went over for a wonderful counter-attacking score. 3 minutes later they had a second, a clever chip ahead from Danny Cipriani collected by Sam James, and he turned provider as he fed his fellow centre Johnny Leota to score in the corner. Just another 5 minutes later, Tom Ascott opened his account for the season. Leota the creator this time with a wonderful offload in the tackle. After a career best season from Ascott last term with 12 tries, it's taken quite a time to open his account this season. The home side stretching the lead to 17-0. Saracens have shown that they are comfortable coming from behind this season, however, and before the break they had the lead. Jim Hamilton scored the opener from a driving maul, and then American international Chris Wilde scored a brace, the first thanks to great work from Nick Tompkins. The second after a fine pass from Ben Spencer, after the TMO adjudged that Wilde scored the try without getting into touch, a decision Steve Diamond was not happy with after the match. 17-22 at the break, but early in the second half, 3 Cipriani penalties put Sale back in the lead. They ceded that advantage yet again, Sam James hitting the panic button in the midfield from a good counter-attacking position, and his loose pass was seized upon by Wiles, who this time repaid Tompkins, the 21-year-old, with a try bonus score. Sale pressed for a score to put themselves back in front, but in a good position in the Sarries 22, James's pass was anticipated by Mike Ellery, and the former England Sevens international sprinted the length of the pitch to leave Saracens leading 36-26 with just over 10 minutes to go. Replacement TJ Ioane made it interesting when he crashed over the line moments later, but a well-executed driving maul, and then Asker went over after relentless Sharks pressure. Sam James with a try-scoring pass to leave Cipriani the chance to win as the clock ran down. His kick drifted agonisingly wide of the post, just 50% on target for the tail 10, as another opportunity slipped by. 36-all the final score, honours even, but neither side content with the outcome.
Much of the rugby world has spent months just waiting for Worcester's demise, but the Warriors themselves have refused to surrender meekly to what seems to be inevitable relegation, and this was to be another battling performance. They scored the first try at the Rec through Josh Draninyu after 5 minutes. But Bath have much to fight for themselves at the top end of the table, and for the rest of the first half they dominated. Scrum half Mickey Young darted through a tiny gap to score their first try. And then a piece of individual brilliance from George Ford added to Bath's advantage. He went past several Worcester defenders before picking out Horacio Aguja with a clever pass. Worcester were then reduced to 14 men by the yellow card handed to Sam Betty for taking out Aguja in the air. And on the brink of half-time, Bath scored again. Nick Abendanon making it 19-5. A fourth penalty extended that lead early in the second half, but he was then shown the game's second yellow card for a similar offence, and Worcester responded. Andy Simmons, starting a Premiership match for the first time since December, got the Warriors back in the game with 25 minutes left. Then the Warriors switched the ball from right to left, and Simmons' long pass found Chris Pennell, who scored his third try in 5 matches. That meant there were just 5 points between the teams, but any hopes of an upset ended with 3 minutes left as Matt Bannahan went over. So relegation had moved a step closer for Worcester, and the importance of the fourth try wasn't lost on anyone at the Rec. It meant a bonus point victory for Bath and third place in the table as they climbed above Leicester on games won.
Leicester Tigers find themselves in the unusual position of second bottom in the Aviva Premiership after their second straight loss. The Tigers going down 35-29 in a seesawing thriller at Adams Park against London Wasps. After an exchange of penalties between Billy Twelvetrees and Nicky Robinson, it was Twelvetrees who got one over on his opposite man, following up another 3 points by bulldozing over Robinson from short range for the first try and extending the Tigers' lead. Nick Berry had earlier been denied a try for a forward pass, but was on hand to take the inside ball from Christian Wade and dot down for Wasps' first try of the match. 5 minutes later, and provider turned scorer as a lovely sleight of hand by Marco Wenzel provided Wade with a straightforward run-in and give Wasps the lead for the first time in the match, 17-13. Leicester responded just before half-time. A brilliant break by standoff George Ford, scored and converted by Twelvetrees to give his side a 20-17 lead at half-time. Another Twelvetrees penalty after the break extended the Tigers' lead, but then a quite brilliant try from Wade brought Wasps back in. The 20-year-old receiving the ball just outside his 22, finding the hole between Shooter and Allen and weaving round to touch down and make it a 1-point game. Ryan Davis had replaced Robinson, and the new Wasps number 10 traded penalties with Twelvetrees before adding his second to give his side a 28-26 lead on 67 minutes. Wasps continued to hammer away and sealed victory with Wade's hat-trick. Berry kicking through and the winger touching down to round off a marvellous display. Twelvetrees added a final penalty in his 29th point, but the cushion was always there for the hosts to confirm the win and take themselves level on points at the top of the table with Exeter. Exciting times for the Adams Park faithful, while Tigers fans will be shocked at having to look down rather than up.
After an impressive win last weekend against Harlequins, Bristol Bears were looking for a repeat performance against Northampton Saints on Saturday afternoon in round 5 of the Gallagher Premiership. But it was the away side who got the first points of the match as Welsh international Dan Biggar kicked an early penalty. Bristol did respond though, through Will Hurrell, the centre, powering his way through the Saints' defence to touchdown. Northampton then got their first try of the match, Aaron Painter bundling over from an impressive driving maul. Chris Boyd's side then extended the lead as Andrew Kellaway crossed, the former Waratahs man linking up with Dan Biggar and Tom Collins before dotting down. Callum Sheedy reduced the gap to 7 as he landed his first penalty of the match, and then the Bears made it 17-all. John Afoa, the instigator, flying through a maul before offloading to his front row partner Harry Thacker. But Saints got the 5th try of the afternoon just before the interval. Lewis Ludlow waltzing past Piers O'Connor to score. Sheedy added another penalty just before half-time to make it 24-20 to the visitors at the break. Saints extended their lead early in the second half with Tekeli Nayavaro fending off O'Connor and Steve Luatua before crossing. But Bristol wouldn't lie down and Luke Morahan got their 3rd score. A superb crossfield kick from Sheedy found O'Connor and the fullback found the Australian winger, making it a 4-point game. After another Sheedy penalty, Alex Waller was this time the Saints scorer. The co-captain powering over, and then followed a Mike Hayward score, making it 43-30 to the visitors with 16 minutes remaining. Bristol did manage to get their bonus point score on 69 minutes, Will Hurrell squeezing over in the corner, and then they nicked another bonus point just before full-time, Alapati Lua finishing well in the corner. So a much-needed win for Chris Boyd's side as they pick up their first victory on the road this season. The final score at Ashton Gate, Bristol Bears 40, Northampton Saints 45.